Hey, it's Ethan here at eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the Pewag all square snow tire chains on our 2022 Toyota Tacoma. These are going to be on tire size 265/70 R16. Make sure you check the fit guide on our website, type it in, get the right make and model and the right tire chains for your tire. Also, we want to make sure that we have them on the rear axle as per the owner's manual. Double check the owner's manual in your case as well, just to make sure you're getting the chains on the right tire for you. These are basically going to be an in-between as far as aggressiveness goes. Pretty high profile, so they are going to be fairly aggressive. They're going to be useful in moderate snow and ice conditions, as well as mud situations if you want to use them for that. So let's check out how they work. The chains are in a ladder pattern, which basically means they follow one another and they go parallel across the tire. So this is going to be really helpful for starting and stopping. I'm not going to give you quite as much coverage on turns, but you're going to get that traction right away. They're also going to be a little bit more high profile with these big square links here that are going to help bite into that ice and snow, especially with those built-in grooves. You can see that those are also there to get you that initial traction in those situations. They're made of a manganese nickel alloy, which is also going to be durable and strong in those situations and is going to hold up really well to rust, weather, and corrosion, and just long-term wear and tear, better than a low-carbon steel chain. There's 3 cam tensioners built into the chains to help you get that initial tension into your chains, but they are subject to moving as you're getting into more aggressive situations, so those are here nor there, but we do recommend picking up one of these rubber tensioners if you use these anyway, just because they will shift around, and this will help make sure that the chains are staying in place as you're using them. The chains come 2 to a set in this pretty lightweight bag. Doesn't do the greatest job, and especially after a few weeks of use or a year or two, especially with these chains that are supposed to last, those pointy edges will start to poke through pretty easily. So if you pick up these chains, we definitely recommend picking up something more durable to keep them in, like a plastic tote, anything to keep them in a better position and to keep the weather out for a long time. But overall, one nice thing about these chains is that as long as you know what you're doing, they are pretty easy to install. You don't have to roll over them, but we do recommend making sure that you try this out in your garage beforehand before you get stranded on the side of the road trying to figure it out. If you need a little help, you can check out how we did it right now. First thing we typically like to do is just to lay the chains out and spread them on the floor, just making sure that nothing is twisted or tangled. We just want to make sure that the cams are on the side facing us in this case, and we also want to make sure that the chains are facing the right way. To do that, we use these hoops at the end of each set of links. We want to make sure that this flat side is the side that's touching the tread of our tires. We just don't want this hooked portion making any contact with our tread, so the way we have it right now is the way we want it. Now we'll just drape the chains over our tire. I just like to grab where they intersect here in the back and do our best to make sure that they're spread out evenly, front to back as well as side to side. That'll just make our lives a little bit easier once we're ready to make our first connection on the back side. I'm going to go for the third link in our case. We'll just try to fit this hook into the loose links on the other side. We can always come back and adjust this if we need to based on what sort of tension we get on the front side, and we still have those cams to tension down. Now we'll make this connection on the front and then get our cams tightened up. So same thing as on the back. This time I'm going to go for the second link. It's pretty easy. Maybe I'll just see what the third looks like. Looks like we are able to get that third one. And I actually pulled some chain out that was stuck behind the tire, so maybe we'll go for the next one as well. And we'll go with the third one for now. We might have to go back and tighten up the one on the back, but we'll try the cams first. We use that provided tool to lever our cams now. I'll start with the bottom left one. Just fit that in and turn it counterclockwise, just like that. And repeat that process for the remaining 2, starting with this one on top. Just like that. We should be able to get the third one, no problem. Just like that. Once we have those cams tightened down, that's a great way to get that initial tension into the chains. But with these, we still recommend picking up a rubber tensioner to make sure everything stays in place. So we can actually fit the hooks, making sure that they're facing away from our tread, into the cams if they're in that location. But otherwise, you're basically just going to put them on similar to how you would put a tire on or take it off, going from top to bottom and left to right. trying to spread them out as evenly as possible. Just making sure that as our tires are bumping along, shifting around in the ice and snow, that we still have that tension and we're still going to be able to make sure that the chains are on securely. Once you have the tensioner in place, make sure you get the chains and the tensioner installed on the driver's side tire as well. Roll forward or backwards a few times just to make sure everything is secure, and then you're ready to go. Overall, like I mentioned, these chains are going to be sort of an in-between as far as aggressiveness goes. There is a step up if you want to get some links that have those studs in them for really aggressive purposes, but those are going to be off-road use only. There is also a step down as far as aggressiveness goes, and that's going to be your twist link chains. You're going to feel those a little bit less while you're driving, but they'll also get you a little bit less bite. So it's kind of just a matter of shopping around, trying to find what works best for you. We have videos and product pages for each of those chains that I just mentioned. But if you do like the square links for the purposes that we talked about in the video, they're still a really good option. This was just a look at those Pewag all square snow tire chains and how they fit on our 2022 Toyota Tacoma.